Hello everyone, this is Otto from Go to Max Lifestyle. And in this interview, I got a very special person here to talk about public speaking and his experience. It's Edmund Chow, and I found him again as many other cool people on Facebook. And we set up this talk to share some of his experience from the world of public speaking, and he's also big into many other things as I am. So Edmund, welcome in on our show.
Thanks for having me, Otto. It's a real pleasure to be here. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Edmund, would you tell something about yourself? I know you're from Singapore and you live in Manchester. So what brought you to the Manchester, and what's your main focus now these days?
I'm in Manchester because I'm completing my PhD in drama.
Wow.
So I'm now right now in my final phase of my writing up, and I'll be submitting it before the end of this year. So hopefully uh, by the end of this year, I would be given a doctorate.
Wow.
Yeah, in drama. So that's my passion. Obviously, the when I was in Singapore, I was an educator. I still consider myself a teacher. So I taught English, and then I went on to do drama. But I did drama in the prison. So I was teaching prison inmates drama techniques, but not really to get them to act, but get them to talk about issues, emotional issues, values, life skills. So I was using drama to facilitate that process. So it is a form of education as well as a therapeutic process for the participants. So if you're asking me what are the things that make me come alive, is really education and drama and theater. And I think, not I think, but because of those background and training, I have moved on to developing public speaking, specifically using acting methods, because I have seen a lot of public speakers who have different forms of training, but I realized that a lot of the participants in these courses still do not have that stage presence. They are not dynamic on stage. They still have to sort of memorize the story that they want to tell. So those are the things that I'm passionate about. But also on top of that, I am very much interested. Not interested. I have done a lot of this actually. I'm an avid globe trotter, so I travel around the world a lot. Just came back from Spain last week in Barcelona. That was a great holiday. And let me see what else I'm interested in. I think these are the two or three major passions or interests, yeah, that I have.
Hmm. Very interesting. I've seen that you won some public speaking award from Mr. Harrington's school, and I know he's quite famous in UK.
Yeah, Andy Harrington is one of the leading public speaking coaches. So he founded the Professional Speakers Academy, and when I joined it, I came in twice. I won the first prize, the top award, and then once I won the second award, second prize for our public speaking skills, basically. Yeah, so it's been a real privilege to be coached by a leading public speaker in the UK.
Mm.
Yeah,
Very good. I have a question for you
sure.
because a lot of people, and I can really relate to this one because I became a public speaker nearly like a side effect of my passions. And when I was doing my first workshop in photography, and I was very confident with the stuff I was doing. So I exactly knew how to coach people, how to send a message, how to become a better photographer. But from technical point of view, to set up everything properly. And when I stand in front of 10 people, I just freeze.
Mm.
So, would you help our listeners to to overcome the fear of public speaking when they have to talk, let's say the toast on a wedding, when they have to talk in front of 10, 20 people or hundreds?
Wow, it has been said. I'm not sure whether this is statistically true. It has been said that the number one fear in the world is the fear of public speaking, and not the fear of death or dying. So I'm not sure. Yeah, because I have not done any research. But I think in order to overcome the fear of public speaking, you need to understand where that fear comes from, because obviously in your situation you have content knowledge, you have the specialization in your photography skills, so it's not that you are not sure what you're going to talk about. Whereas for some people, even like in universities, some people have to give presentations, and you sort of know, if you're a lecturer, you're a course tutor, you know that a student is going through what we call, they're just fluffing it, they're just making it look like as if they know their stuff. And when they fumble, that's when you realize that, okay, that's again, they don't really know the stuff. So if you don't know your content, it makes it harder for you to overcome that fear of public speaking. So first of all, know your stuff, know your content, be a specialist in your area. So in your case, because you already know your stuff, so the second thing could be, I'm not sure. Yeah, it could be because you are not used to speaking in front of people, or not used to hearing your voice in a large crowd.
Hmm.
Because sometimes even when we sing, let's say in a karaoke, or we speak using a mic, and then we suddenly hear our sounds, our voices amplified through the speakers, we suddenly have that reaction, isn't it? It's like, oh, do I sound like that? So I think when we are not comfortable hearing our own voices, we become a little uncomfortable in front of people.
Mm.
uh, so that's the way to overcome that, is to just really be comfortable with your own voice. And also, more importantly, I think, because once you are standing in front of the crowd, people will judge you. And I think we become very self-conscious of what people will say or think of us, because they are not just scrutinizing your content, they're also scrutinizing you from head to toe. Maybe your button is undone, or your zipper is undone, and then there are a lot of things to be worried about. Or maybe even in front of the camera, for example, right now, in front of this Skype call, some people are afraid of just appearing in front of the camera because of how they look. So, for example, even for me, I don't have very straight teeth, and if I'm very insecure about my looks, I will not want to speak, and I will not want to smile. Then I'll be speaking like this, very softly, because I want to hide the crooked teeth. But if I'm really comfortable in myself, in my body, with all the different, um, I won't say frailties, but all the different things that we have, and it may not look perfect, but when you are comfortable in your own skin and in your own body, people can just see you smile, and it just emanates. And that could be one of the elements of confidence and charisma and stage presence. Does it make sense?
Well, that's very well said, and I think you covered so much in it. Basically, what you try to say, what you're saying is that just to be yourself, enjoy who you are, and basically know your stuff while you talk in front of whoever is there. Just be yourself, basically.
Yeah, but the thing is, being yourself is very difficult, you know? Because you know that what happens is, when once you are in front of a group of people, you are no longer yourself. You are performing. And we have
Okay,
to acknowledge that we are performing. So
I got you.
right now, the way I speak to you, I'm a little more animated than if I were to speak to someone who is sitting here with me in the room.
Mm,
Because right now, I also recognize that there are viewers watching both of us,
I see.
and in order for them not to be bored, because this is one way to engage, so I'm using a little more hand gestures than normal. My voice seems to modulate a little more, so it is a performance. And once we recognize that we are performing, we are still being ourselves, but we are performing.
We're playing.
Then I think we will be more comfortable in front of people.
I see.
Yeah,
I
I
see.
don't know if that makes sense though.
Yeah, it makes good sense. Really well said. And that actually was already something I wanted to ask as a second question, and it actually it's nearly freely flew into it. And basically, my next question was: do you follow any particular method uh, which make public speaking more engaging? Just to prevent putting people to where is this guy's over? How to make speaking engaging?
I think we need to know what we are doing with our speeches because different people give presentations for different reasons, right? I mean, you can be giving a business presentation, you may be doing a sales pitch. That's also another form of presentation. You could be giving a lecture, so an academic lecture can be very boring. So I think we need to understand what is the purpose first? Is it to entertain? Is it to educate? Is it to convince? Is it to inspire? I think basically maybe these are the four big reasons that I can think of right now in terms of what you do with your speeches. Um, I think the important thing is to engage audiences with your heart because when you're being authentic and sincere, especially looking into the eyes of your viewer, moving from person to person, giving them that space to connect with you, makes you more likable.
Yeah.
And because you are likable, they will definitely want to hear what you have to say. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, from all the technical stuff, I mean, I'm taking away all the technical stuff. Of course, technicalities could mean like moving in space, moving forward towards the audience, giving stories, hand gestures. All these are more technical. But if you really cut away the technicalities, the the only thing that is um, the element I would think is your own personality emanating from within so that everything becomes genuine, everything becomes sincere, and people would um, just listen. They would just go with the flow. Even if you are fumbling, or even if let's say you are not if English is not your first language, so therefore you sometimes speak in a very broken way, ungrammatical way. But sometimes it can be quite funny because you are genuinely um, not so embarrassed, I would say, with your language skills, and therefore people will admire you and like you for that particular accent as well. For these little grammatical. I mean, of course, different people have different reasons for not liking you or liking you. Again, we are being judged all the time, being criticized all the time. So if you are being sincere and genuine, I think that's the most important part to making them like you, and for you to engage with them as well.
Hmm. Well, I'm glad you that you talk about um, foreigner because that's also for me that was a big issue talking in front of the crowd as I became personal trainer.
Yeah.
One on one, it's kind of okay, but when you talk one on 20 or one on 30 people, that's public speaking, or either on 35 people on on my seminar about healthy nutrition,
Yeah.
and I just got into that flow, and I actually had to lose myself in it, and I couldn't stop. And when I would listen to myself the recording, I was like, oh, do I really sound like that? And I would kind of judge myself, but eventually everybody was listening the message,
Yeah.
and that was kind of nice. So it leads me into the next question: how to be likable and how to create online presence.
What's the second part of the question?
Online presence.
So do you want likability online, or do you want, because two different things. One is on stage and one is on screen, right?
Okay, let's break it on two different parts. How do you um, think you could actually make people like you?
I think I sort of covered a little bit into like how to just being sincere and genuine.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, sure.
But I think one of the important things to for people to like you is to appear vulnerable. You know, when you are vulnerable and you are as human as your audience, then they would perhaps connect with you on that level rather than you being a really prolific speaker. Let's just say Tony Robbins, or let's say Les Brown. I mean, of course, Les Brown, he's very likable, very approachable. You know, I've been to his seminars and he's always standing uh, at the door welcoming you with a handshake, you know. But let's say you come to a big event, rarely do you see the speakers until they come on stage. So therefore, there is that aura around them that they're so high and mighty, and therefore it's very difficult to get them to like you. So what you need to do as a speaker, if you can't have that physical intimacy, then you will need to tell a story about yourself, a story that reveals your weaknesses and vulnerabilities, to show that you are a person who also has shortcomings, failures, and perhaps your overcoming the failures or the shortcomings will be an inspiration for them so that they can relate to you in that sense.
Well, I think that that makes sense, because in our lives there are so many situations, all this contrast, the good, bad, and the ugly, and all the everyday situations where we're dealing with our clients, with our bosses, with anyone we meet in shops, people who do the services for us. So we are constantly communicating with people, and we are constantly dealing with certain situations. So, well, this public speaking, I would also connect this towards the personal development, where we actually working on different skills. And that's what Go to Max is about. Go to Max Lifestyle, the company which we founded with my partner, it's about bringing all these different skills, even technical things, how to set up the phone properly, how to work the Gmail with for productivity, how to edit videos, how to get microphone perfectly set up, how to record videos. So, I think there's a lot of space for people to make money online, and that's why I want to talk with you about public speaking. And that's something which is very new to me. I mean, just recently I started to do this recording videos, and sometimes I come home after a long day of work, maybe I even do the gym, do the sauna, and then I coming home and I set up the interview. And fair play, I don't want to cancel, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it. And sometimes happens that I get a little tired, and then the mind drifts away. But would you have any tips on how to introduce my guests into these shows?
That's a great, yeah, that's a great question because, um, yeah, I mean, most of the time people would just introduce their names. You know, like let's say, yeah, welcome Otto to my show. Um, Otto is the founder of Go to Max Lifestyle. Is that your company?
Yeah,
Did
it
I get it
is.
right?
You got it right.
Sorry, yeah. So I haven't. You see, so that becomes a little awkward because I haven't done my homework. Um, so if you're going to introduce your guest, you need to do homework, and you need to ask your guest what kind of information you should introduce. Because
Yeah.
sometimes your guest might have moved on, because sometimes they have information online, and then you might go online, go to the website, go to other things, and then you sort of took certain parts of the information, and your guest might have already moved on. It's like a different chapter,
Yeah.
and then it's no longer relevant today. So it's always good to check before you come online live to see what kind of information did you get. First of all, did you get the name correctly pronounced? because some names are very difficult to pronounce. So it will be really embarrassing to introduce someone and then your guest will say, no, it's actually pronounced this way. So check the spelling, check, I mean, not spelling, check the pronunciation, check the information, the biography. Ask your guest what specific area you want to focus on in introducing him or her. Like I said, because they may be moving on to a different project, so they may want you to talk about that area of interest, you know. The third thing, which is very rare, is giving a person an anecdote to how you met this person. So, for example, if you are able to talk about, you know, I met Otto. I'm faking this up. Yeah, this is completely imaginative, imaginary. So you know, I met Otto last year when I was in Dublin, you know, at the gym, and then he came to me and he says, "This is the wrong way of doing your bicep curls." And I said, "Oh, really? Can you show me some specific techniques?" And there he was giving me, instead of just advice like most coaches do, he actually gave me a coaching session, you know, for an hour, and that quality is something I admire about Otto, and that's why we are so proud and happy and honored to have him on our show today. You know, because I have personally been transformed by his enthusiasm in the sports, in his area of, you know, of fitness and health, but more so it is his way to connect with people like me. I was not even in fact, I didn't even pay him for this particular coaching that he did, just because he saw me doing something wrong. So something like that, right? I'm sort of giving a little bit of an anecdote.
That
And
is called edification as well, isn't it?
in network marketing, it's called edification. But in different, I, you can call it anything, but it is a way to personalize your guest, because your guest is not just, for example, you introduce me with, okay, Edmund is so and so, having won awards at the Public Speakers Academy and all the other things. So again, you bring me high up, you elevate me to an extent that sometimes it may look like I'm too high up there, and therefore it's very hard for the viewer or the whoever is there to access me or to reach me. So on one hand, you want to bring that person up in terms of the successes that person has gained, but at the same time, bring in a personal anecdote, a story of you having an experience. So you said, you know, you met me online. So for example, what happened? How did you meet me online? What were some of your personal takeaways? What were some of the things that you remember about me, even though we haven't met in person? So that becomes personal, and also at the same time, it creates a bond between you and me, and that bond is very visible to your audience online.
Okay.
Does it make sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. Yes.
Yeah, I hope it's not too technical though.
No, no, not at all. I have only few. We wouldn't make this another 2 hour show. I think one of the um, pa- 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 one of the interesting would be from the world of the drama. Let's say, how would actors prepare before the show, before the play? Would they do some would they have some kind of special rituals? Is there some technique to distress and relax for that? Is there some psyching up going on?
Yeah.
Please.
Can I assume that this is related to public speakers going on stage as well?
Sure. Or
So,
talking to the boss.
yeah. Different actors, I cannot give a specific method, but different actors use different techniques to prepare themselves just a few minutes or an hour before going on stage. Usually, actors will come 1 hour to 2 hours early before the show begins to warm up, depending on the director. So directors may come together as an ensemble and they may do drama games, warm-up games, to get them in the body. So it's very important to be in the body before you come on the stage. Being in the body means we play games. We are really playing games. There are a lot of drama games, so that once you are in the body, you are loose, right? So you are also present. You are firmly rooted on the ground because you are no longer up here thinking about what you want to say and how you want to deliver. But now you're grounded, your feet firmly planted because you're playing games. You're doing all these exercises. You're, you know, a lot of energy games that you do with your co-actors. At the same time, we would do vocal warm-ups because once you're on stage, you cannot be fumbling and your tongue cannot be stumbling over certain consonants or sounds or that kind of thing. So there are vocal exercises to warm up your vocal apparatus. Um, Tongue twisters. We use tongue twisters, for
Hmm.
example. She sells seashells on the seashore, and then we keep saying it, and then we use the different consonants. We give siren exercises like, so it warms up the entire body, but it warms up the entire vocal apparatus, so that your cheeks. You also have to do massages, right? So that everything is flexible. Yeah. So one good thing, maybe one thing that you can do before you go on stage is to really warm up. So I'm gonna do a quick activity
Like push-ups.
demonstration. Well, push-ups can as well. I don't know if you can see me. So if you are going on stage, what I usually tell my actors or performers to do is just to shake it out, right? So we do 5 times on one hand, and then the other hand, and then the leg, and then the other leg. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, actually, 5, 4, 3.
2-1.
No, it's the other way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you go down. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. Ah! So you shake it out, right? You shake your entire body so that your body becomes warmed up, but at the same time you are physically grounded, and then you are ready to go. And then of course, before you go, this is like ensemble games, right? So before you go, then maybe actors will take their own personal space and do some breathing exercises on their own. But rarely do we go into our content because we would have already memorized the lines, right? Because if you're still thinking about the lines to say, that means you're not ready to go on stage. So you would have, before you go on stage as a speaker, you must forget all your lines. Like you're standing behind a curtain, waiting for your cue to go on stage, right? Introducing, let's say you're a public speaker, introducing Otto Winkler. You cannot be behind the stage thinking, okay, what am I going to say next? So at that stage, your mind has to be completely blank. So when you go on stage, you are reacting to the other co-actors. And in the same way, if you're just the only public speaker, you're reacting to the audiences around you. You're giving a smile to your audience, you know, having a little pause, smile again. So those are little moments of connecting with the audience and being there rather than up here, your mind is thinking about, oh, I need to say this, I need to say that. Forget about that and just being yourself and being genuine and sincere.
Hmm.
Does it make
Okay.
sense? Is it too technical?
No, no, no. I'm glad you're talking about the technical stuff because for me particularly, and I believe a lot of our viewers and listeners would actually want to hear the technical stuff because sometimes when we get into the profession, we think this is normal. This is yeah, we always do it that way. But that's exactly what makes it so unique that the technical stuff which a lot of people don't have either time or they never came across of such an information that would actually make them realize how these techniques works so they can perform better. And I believe that the public speaking is one of those talents that just takes practice, but also that we have to take a first step, and eventually we have a public speaking anytime we talk to someone, isn't it?
Sorry, what's the question? I didn't get.
We do sort of public speaking whenever we communicate with someone. Then we just scale it up a little bit. Because it doesn't matter if you talk to one person or if you talk to 100 people or 1,000, you can still perform and spread the message. That could help people who are in a sales jobs, or who are talking on the phone
Mm-hmm.
with the customers, who are negotiating with other business owners. So it's about you know you know spreading the message well.
Yeah, exactly. So public speaking, if I could just summarize, is basically um, speaking and being heard and being understood, or making sure that your message is understood. Yeah, I think that would be a better tagline because it's all about communication.
Mm,
Yeah.
it is. Hmm. Listen, Edmund, just before we wrap it up, do you do any one-on-one sessions or do you organize some monthly or some special group events where our followers can actually find you?
Yes, I do one-on-one Skype calls, Skype coaching, and the first session is usually I'll give it for free because I want you to actually go into that experience of being coached with me. So I offer you a free coaching session first, and then if you feel that that's useful, because my technique is very different. My technique is really using acting techniques rather than just telling you what to say or what to do. And also because it's a Skype call, is you're not physically there with me, so you need to be comfortable with this particular medium, right? Because again, I will ask you to do homework. So you will need to present your stories, etc. So there are one-on-one coaching sessions that I offer. So write to me. Usually, my coaching sessions are by referrals only. So in this case, they will be if they are your audiences on your channel, then they will be referred by you, right? Recommended by you. I also have workshops. So, for example, next Saturday, I am running one workshop in Manchester, and this workshop is called Audience Engagement Workshop or Masterclass for public speakers, entrepreneurs, and storytellers. So, this particular workshop, again, what you saw me do just now is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of being in the body and owning the space and having stage presence. And these are all based on acting techniques and storytelling techniques that actors and directors use. Yeah, so write to me if you're interested in any of these powerful public speaking strategies to get you motivated and really wanting to effect changes in your listeners.
Hmm. Edmund, would you share your website and where can people find you on Facebook?
EdmundChow.com, EdmundChow.com, or you can find me on Facebook.com/EdChowCoaching, EdChow coaching, one word. So those are my. I also have YouTube channels and all, but I think it's just easiest to find me on Facebook, and then from there you can see my YouTube channels. Also,
Mhm.
there is a public speaking strategies Facebook group that anyone can subscribe to. So send me a message if you can look for groups. It's an open group, but you still need to get into it, and then I'll accept you.
Yeah.
I don't know why it's called open when I need to do that. Yeah, but that's Facebook's privacy settings.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna share the links for
Definitely.
those people, foreigners like me, who has a hard time translating the the letters
Yeah.
into their language understanding. So, Edmund,
Hmm.
I really enjoyed our talk, and would you be up for more?
Definitely, I really enjoyed our conversation, Otto. So let's keep it going and see how else I can help you develop. In terms of even your partners, how else I can develop your public speaking presence online as
Yes.
well as offline,
Mm.
or also to your audiences, to your followers, even on storytelling techniques. Whatever I can do, I will definitely be online again to partner up with you.
That's cool because Go to Max lifestyle for me, that's not only about getting the personal training clients for weight loss or nutrition. I think that's just like this little part of our life.
Yeah.
Nutrition and exercise and personal development and speaking and coaching and so for me it's about creating channel not only for our clients but also for professionals and other experts who want to improve in other areas. So I'm also like researcher. I'm trying to put things together. I always been researching and getting the big picture
Yeah.
and then wrapping it up so people can grab pieces of it and actually evolve and find on our channel more of the information that could be kind of like a next step to achieve. So Edmund,
Yeah, Otto.
thank you very much.
It's been a real pleasure. On that note, I just want to let your followers also know that Otto has helped me a lot technically with a lot of different programs and helping me get through even on this Skype call. As simple as it may sound, there are some other devices that we had to put in place, the recording kind of a device. So Otto is excellent in what he does. So follow him. And like you said, this is not just a fitness program, but it's really about personal development. So, yeah, so I'm glad to be on your program as well, Otto. Thank you very much for having me.
Edmund, my pleasure. All the best. Take care. Bye
Bye.
bye.